This is the Cult of Courage podcast, weekly post game. Today we are tackling entrepreneurship, getting clear and overcoming your fear. I'm here with Gareth Pickering. How you doing today, bro?
Matthew, good to see you. You look cold with your beanie. For those of you that are only listening to this on audio, Matt is, got a dressing gown on and he's got his headgear on. And I'm recording this episode in the car. And Araminta's just arrived back. And today we are going to be talking all about the journey of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, we are. But before we get into it, I want to address why I'm dressed this way. And you know what? Quick personal update. I was supposed to be in a camper van tonight.
You didn't tell me why you didn't go camping yet.
I mean, we had a pod. My wife, Aitana, and I had a pod, a drop-in today, and it kind of overflowed the container, and it was really emotional for us. And Nilo...
Explain what a pod is.
So a pod is a communication framework that Aitana and I use to drop in and figure out what's true with us. It's an opportunity for us to own our truth to the other person. And we never really know what's going to come up. It's more of like a space to kind of get whatever's alive in us out so that we can align our vibrations to have a great trip. Like we do that as part of our post game. You know, when we go on a trip, we always drop in and do a pod before. And usually it takes about 20, 30 minutes max. And we're cracking an hour of getting deep and getting really emotional. And Nilo wakes up from his nap and interrupts us. And all of a sudden, like the packing and the loading up the camper and all the things that go with getting out of town just felt super heavy in our state. And we called it. And so, I was supposed to be doing the podcast from a camper, but it's a good thing though, because we were going up on a mountain. It would have been cold tonight. So anyway, I'm here.
And I knew that I was going to be recording this episode from the car. So here I am on the side of the road in Zone 10 in Guatemala City. And I just had beautiful lunch with Araminta. And we have actually been shopping for our new little mountain cabin, which we are building. And we've been fireplace shopping. And so, we feel like we've been busy, but blessed to be able to do all of these things.
Well, bro, I'm blessed that we're able to knock this stuff out in different countries. When we started this journey, we were in Mexico, in Oaxaca City, living together and putting the initial wheels onto this bus that we've been driving for, how long has it been? 6 years?
It's probably been closer to 7.
And I think now we're in different parts of the globe. I'm in Spain, you're in Guatemala, and we're often able to meet while we're both traveling and on the road. And I don't think we could have done this as early digital nomad entrepreneurs. I think there's a part of me that really wants to celebrate that we're at this stage, like fully integrated with our lifestyles, because that's one of the things that you and I have always talked about.
That was the dream, and it's always been the dream to be able to have a business that you can run from anywhere, make money from the road, whether it's a camper van or the beach or wherever you happen to be. What do you think has been the shift? Why did it take us 7 years to get here?
I mean, the list is long, right? There's the technology curve, which is it. There's the messaging. I mean, we used to really, when we first started this business, we thought we wanted to speak to as many people as possible, and that was going to be the most effective way of getting our messaging out. And so that was the first round. The Live More Perfect Days was the brand we built around that one.
Right.
And it wasn't until a few years ago that we really got into our calling of men's work. And I think that's really, for me, us getting specific about it got us the feedback that we've been receiving from our audience. Like we never really got engagement with the Live More Perfect Days brand in a way that really resonated with me, that like these are our people. And now that we're getting that, I find that at this stage in our entrepreneurial journey on this project, it's way easier to get up at 3 a.m. with an idea, an aha moment, and go and write it down and build for this business than it was 5-6 years ago. And that matters because that matters because that's the way like you show up to a project, right? Like the guys that we coach who are building their own businesses and putting their work out into the world, like one of the things we always talk to them about is you have to be working on something that you're passionate about, because the pathway of entrepreneurship requires that of you sometimes, for you to go that extra mile and to show up. And if
Hmm.
it's not your passion project, like those moments pass you, and that adds up and your business becomes one that you leave behind.
Hmm. Yeah, I think one thing that I've been reflecting on over the last couple of months, probably last couple of years, has also been this shift of non-attachment. I know the part of me that we would do a launch and something wouldn't go according to plan, and I would be like, oh, now this means something. It means that we're not good enough, or this is some sort of failure or something like that. And then we would have some success. A part of me would light up and be like, oh, this is amazing. This is just exactly what we need. Neither of those are true. Like nothing actually really matters. It's just data and showing up and putting in the hours and doing the work. And yeah, what's reflected back to you is more a reflection of the personal alignment that I've felt with myself, of being like, okay, I know what I want to do. I've I've got work out into the world that's been received by people. And the more that I do that, the more it seems to come back. And then using that not as I'm amazing or that I'm a complete failure, but more as like, oh, this is data. Let's do more of this. We're getting good feedback here, and just continually working with that. And that's, I think, been a really important shift in my experience. One. And then secondly, for me, I've had some strong money blocks. I've had some strong money blocks around, again, my sense of self-worth being linked to some income goal. Like I'll be worthy when, or my parents or family or friends back in South Africa will think I'm amazing when. And again, none of that's true. Like, all of us are amazing and full and whole and complete exactly as we are. And some of us make a lot of money, some of us don't. That really doesn't actually matter. It's taken me a while to get to that place of just being as relaxed as it is with that.
Yeah, definitely. It reminds me of a conversation you shared, I think that you had with Minta, around like everyone's task matters, or everyone's
Yes.
job matters in the fabric of the world that we're creating. That,
Right.
someone, you had a much more eloquent analogy.
Yeah, something like, I always thought that the investment banker was somehow more valuable than the baker or the builder or something. And in many ways, it
Yes.
makes no difference. Like we all need to do a service. And yeah, I also had a conversation with John Sane, which was like, all of us are at different levels of like evolution in different parts of our lives. You might have relationships dialed in, but your money game might need work. You might have your career dialed in, but you need help in relationships or something like that. And so, yeah, just recognizing this, which is actually coming back to what we taught in the circle this week. And yeah, maybe you want to share the tool that we taught this week and how it landed, because it was so amazing.
Well, for those of you who don't know, we had our first tribe gathering this past week, which is the first circle of a monthly circle for our FSB tribe members. And so this was the first time we got to drop in with those brothers that said yes. And the exercise that we start off almost all of our containers with is this one we call the octagon, which examines all the different 8 pillars of lifestyle design, and you assess where you're at so that you know where your weaknesses are, so you can put your focus there. And
Right.
also identifying those superpowers. Like, we have
Hmm.
these superpowers, and sometimes if we don't take the time to look at ourselves, we forget that we have them, or we don't acknowledge them. And I
Hmm.
think one of the duties of having a superpower is knowing what it is, so that you can wield it and use that to make your impact on the world.
That's leading straight into our next topic of conversation, which is what we're talking about in this month's King Circle, which is coming up the last Sunday of the month. And it's really based on this analogy that I think for the masculine, for most men, your purpose work, what you do in the world, is the most important thing that you do. Like, you need to be working on something that really matters, that feels meaningful for you. And I read a saying recently that says, unshared gifts become poison in the body. And so if you're sitting on these gifts that you're talking about, your superpower that you've been gifted, and you're not sharing them with the world and using them to, yeah, make a difference, that's going to start to feel really uncomfortable, and eventually get to a place where it's going to feel like almost unbearable if you don't take these opportunities and gifts that you've been given and take them out into the world. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about in this week's this month's King Circle coming up next Sunday, the 26th. And Matt, maybe just share, you're going to give some practical stuff about how people can get clear on what it is that their gifts are and help them overcome their fear of maybe finding their voice with something that you've taught me.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a live install during the circle of a tool called SelfStream, which is, yeah, it's a great tool to just have on your smartphone to, what I say, capture your authentic voice in that moment. Like, we all have these aha moments throughout our day. And, you know, if we have a strong journaling practice, maybe they'll make it into a journal if we can remember it, or we'll jot it down. But what I'm doing now is sending myself an audio note and then using that as an archive of ideas. And through that, I'm able to find what is my consistent, authentic expression throughout a day, throughout a week, throughout a month, and use that to, yeah, pinpoint what it is that I want to bring into the world, to explore the voice that I'm going to speak with when I broadcast it to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I also use it for shadow work too. So yeah, I'll be diving in and teaching that in a live environment. And I think we're also going to take the sharing circles as opportunities to dive into stuff like imposter syndrome and the fear around putting your voice out there in the world. So yeah.
Starting a business is a really, really strong mirror. Like, if you're thinking about putting your work out into the world, whatever that is, expect that pretty much everything's going to come up. Your fear of not being good enough, your fear of, is this going to be received by the world? You're going to bump your head. You're going to have people telling you that you're crazy, all mostly from a loving place. People, mostly want you to stay safe because that's what they think. But if you're thinking about taking these gifts that you've been given and actually moving out into the world with them, expect that things are going to come up. And the best way to overcome this is to really have a framework that can support you to get it out into the world, but also a team of people that can pick you up and support you in this process. And I just want to share that Matt is world class at doing this. And he has been instrumental in helping me find my voice, and not only find my voice, but actually find my voice in a way that helps me put it in messaging that really resonates with the type of people that we want to serve, understanding what that is, and helping me really articulate it and lay it out in a way that's really been in service. And so, yeah, where we find ourselves at the moment with 150 men in circle, more or less, so far, 13 paying members inside our Father, Sons, Brothers tribe, which we only launched last week. It's been 8 years of an overnight success. But bro, it's been critical, the work that you've supported me with. And maybe just share what your gifts are that you're bringing to the world in the way that you're supporting me.
Yeah, well, I've been actually in the background developing my personal brand, which articulates a lot of that, and I have taken the moniker of whiteboard ninja and funnel geek, and I think that summarizes what I do. I love getting on the whiteboard and getting creative and creating those mastermind opportunities to bounce ideas off of one another and really harness those pieces of gold from a session,
Mm-hmm.
and then taking those ideas and putting them into the practical space of a digital nomad supportive business that you can operate from a laptop as you travel, um, focusing on passive income. And yeah, that's the niche that I've been carving out for myself and honing in this project with you, Gareth. It's been quite a journey from where we started doing WordPress sites.
Thank you, man. And it's not only me. You're working with other businesses as well that are seeing the results of your gifts. And yeah, it feels really good to see you being in service and bringing it to the world. And I know a lot's shifted in your world since you became a father. And yeah, just kudos for the support that you've given me on this journey. And so stoked to see what you create using your gifts inside the Father, Sons, Brothers tribe, which is really what it is that we've been creating together. Is not only a space for us to connect with other men, but also a space for men to come together inside a safe space and have access to the tools and resources like Matt's talking about and going to be teaching inside the King Circle, but also the support of, like, fuck, I've had a rough day. I could really use some help. I'm stuck here. Or very practically, I've got this great idea. I need some funding. We want to create a space like an incubator for men to be able to come together and bring their ideas and not know where they're going to end up, but have a space to be able to own those and put them out into the world. And yeah, I'm really stoked that our tribe has launched the way that it has. Maybe give those that are listening into this bulletin for the first time our road to 10,000 dream, brother.
Yeah, so we have a goal that we are racing towards to get 10,000 men in circle. So every king circle, every tribe gathering, we add up the men who are there and add them to our continuous count. We're at 145 at the moment. And if you go to fathersonsbrothers.com and register for the next king circle, you can be part of our next count.
King circles are completely free. The Fathers, Sons, Brothers Tribe is a paid membership. It's super reasonable, and the only way to get there is through the King Circle. And so, if you're feeling called to connect with a global tribe of open-hearted men that are on their journey, wanting to show up as their most authentic selves, and don't always have it together, because we're not expected to always have it together. We are open and accepting of men from all walks of life, and it would be an honor to see you in our circle.
Well, Gareth, I think that's all we got for this bulletin, which we're now calling the post game, by the way. We are shifting the name of the bulletin to the post game.
Yeah, we came up with the bulletin as an idea of, sharing what's alive inside the tribe, having an opportunity for Matt and I to drop in on things that were exciting for us. And what it actually pointed to was really we reflect on the week that's been and share some of the wins and highlights that have been unfolding in our personal lives and in our business. And the post game, the opportunity to look back and reflect on not only the week, but this is a practice that we teach. A post game is a really beautiful opportunity to take the lessons and some of the learnings from phases of our life. And a post game could be for a relationship, a business, a family holiday, or a date, but really just taking the opportunity to reflect on what's happened and integrate the lessons from that. So, yeah, this is now going to be called the weekly post game, and it's an honor to be doing it with you, Brew.
Likewise, Gareth, thank you for the kind words, and I will see you later.
All right, man. And I hope you get into the camper van and into the mountains tomorrow. And for those of you listening, we'll see you in the King's Circle last Sunday of the month.
See you guys.
Much love. Ciao.